Hello, everyone. I am Chester44, I'll say name is Fly, and welcome to this Let's Play of Wrath of the Righteous. Last episode, we helped Woljif settle things about his past, and I think his personal storyline is fully completed now. He is now standing up on his own with support of me. Anyway, with that, time for us to go check out another location. Honestly, Woljif, you are still pretty good. You know what? We'll take you this time instead. And the remaining three. Nope, not you. 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 There we go. And let's head to the 10,000 Delights again. And we head on out this way. To the upper city. You get on the mount. And there was a location that I passed by previously. We're going to go investigate it now.
If you dare.
Right up here, we have the Rapture of Rupture.
Your order.
A Zada killer. To the Rapture of Rupture. You are surrounded by the sound of a melodious voice that seems to be coming from the stone pillars all around you. Greetings, esteemed guest. Are you here to seek the hospitality of the illustrious Lady Valexia, or are you here on other business? The entrance to this manor greets you politely. It is far more gracious than the impudent, foul-mouthed door at the 10,000 Delights. Well, what are you? I am both the gate and the gatekeeper. My responsibilities include greeting guests, ascertaining the purpose of their visit, and deciding whether to allow them entry to the manor. Whose manor is this? This manor is called the Rapture of Rupture, and it belongs to the incomparable Lady Valexia. She is the shining star of Elutionera and its most glorious resident, after the magnificent Lady Nocticula, of course. Who created you? Lady Valexia enchanted me herself and personally entrusted me with my responsibilities. She possesses a wide range of impressive talents. I am just a humble testament to her skill and cannot compare to the true masterpieces she creates with her abilities. Can I come in? If you seek the patronage of the illustrious Lady Valexia, I will not stand in your way. If you are here by invitation, esteemed guest, or have brought a gift for the lady, you will also be allowed entrance to the Rapture of Rupture. So, anyone can just walk in. Lady Valexia has nothing to fear. Those who are foolish enough to try to harm her in her own house are quick to realize their mistake. I seek Lady Valexia's patronage and would like to enter. Welcome to the Rapture of Rupture, esteemed lady. Lady Valexia will be notified of your arrival right away. Well, we can get her patronage, I suppose.
I'm off.
And she's right there. I can go ahead and loot that first. There we go. The demon that comes to greet you has blonde hair and is wearing a modest but elegant dress. She seems surprisingly friendly. Her soft voice and impeccable manners seem out of place in a city where extreme passions and boundless indulgence prevail over temperance and moderation. A new guest has arrived. How exciting! A mortal from Galarian, if my eyes do not deceive me. Oh, what brings you to my manor? Oh, this is all very intriguing. Valexia. We have clashed in battle many times. Her claws were always stained with the blood of those she killed on the battlefield. Now she looks different, but I am certain that her true nature remains unchanged. She is still violent and dangerous. You must be on your guard, champion. Everyone talks a lot about you here in Elutionera. Who are you? Ah, how refreshingly direct. Well, let me tell you a little about myself. My name is Lady Valexia, but it is common for others to add a few epithets before my name, often something like magnificent or illustrious. I hold considerable influence in the upper city. You could even call it my little queendom. I'm the foremost member of the city's elite, and all the aristocrats of Illusionera acknowledge me as their de facto leader. You might be under the misconception that the city is ruled by Chimera, but Chimera is nothing more than a glorified cleaner entrusted with the responsibility of tending to the latrines. I, on the other hand, hold sway over the most powerful and influential demons in the city. You see, my dear friend Nocticula allows me to lead the nobility because I look out for her interests. She knows that I am loyal. Unlike most demons, I do not aspire to power beyond what I already possess. I would never stage a coup against Our Lady in Shadow, nor would I ever use my position in society to support anyone else in such a foolish endeavor. I am the commander of the Crusaders of Golarion. I am a famous warrior known for my amazing powers. I seek the honor of your attention and the pleasure of your inestimable company. Valexia answers politely but without much enthusiasm. Known for your amazing powers, here in the Abyss you will need more than power and influence to impress others. Your special abilities will hardly give you the same status as they did on your homeworld. The demons will not see you as worthy of glory and respect until you demonstrate what makes you unique. However, you've managed to pique my interest, and I would be glad to make your acquaintance. There is no need to bother with titles. You can simply call me Valexia. And you are? Don't put your trust in her words, champion. Valexia's temper is like the wind that blows across Ishiar. It changes constantly and bodes poorly for us, no matter what direction it turns. You must watch her as vigilantly as a skilled sailor watches the horizon. My name will remain a secret. Surely you can find it yourself. Valexia claps her hands in delight. Ah, you would prefer to remain incognito. A mystery knight. Oh, isn't that what you'd be called on Golarion? Oh, how absolutely charming. Well, my mysterious new friend, I have a proposal for you. Let's pick a place that's nice and romantic and go on an innocent little date together. It'll be a chance for us to get to know one another. How about the Battle Bliss? It offers simple, spirited enchantment, and it will be a good place for us to talk undisturbed. No one will notice us because they'll be too busy watching the fights in the pit. We can have a nice conversation and learn more about one another. I'll be waiting for you at the arena. Oh, I hope you'll accept my invitation. I will be very disappointed if you deny me the pleasure of your company. Who does she think we are? A circus troupe hired to entertain guests at a ball? Oh, the effrontery. Call me old-fashioned, but I rather think we should go back to the traditional kill-on-sight method of dealing with demons. I'd like to get to know you better. I am flattered by your attention, and I find your personality intriguing. You know, I take great interest in promising young talent, and I tend to offer my patronage to gifted artists. Unfortunately, many of them turn out to be frauds, unable to keep me entertained for more than a few seconds. An acquaintance of mine once mentioned that you used to fly naked over Illusionera. They said you wreaked havoc and terrorized the city in every way imaginable. Valexia blushes slightly and hastily brushes off the question. Oh no, that's preposterous. Those are just ridiculous rumors and exaggerated stories. Of course, when I was younger, I may have allowed myself to be a little too exuberant, but still, what a blatant lie. Flying naked? Such outrageous nonsense. The demon tries to pretend she is outraged, but a sly, self-satisfied smile plays about her lips. If you know all of the most influential demons in the city, perhaps you've heard of a demon named Willidus? Indeed, though I wish I hadn't. The pompous dullard never stops boasting about his position as Our Lady in Shadow's main arcanist, and perhaps his magic really is that impressive, but unfortunately the same cannot be said of his character. He is a coward and a bore. He may be tenacious, but he certainly lacks any cunning. I heard that he recently hired some assassins and sent them after Darazen's head, but he wasn't smart enough to hire professionals. Not only did they fail, they also revealed the name of their client, and now everyone knows who ordered the hit job. Such sad mediocrity. You are not like the other demons. Why is that?
Time. It's a simple answer, but true. I know a lady is never supposed to reveal her age, but suffice it to say that I am far older than this city, and can recall the circumstances in which it was founded. During the ages that have passed, I have had time to play various roles. Perhaps if the gods of Galarian are generous and bless you with longevity, we will meet again. But if that does happen, say 1,000 years from now, I will be completely different. As time passes, I grow bored with each new version of myself, and since boredom is my sworn enemy, I have to reinvent myself to escape its grasp.
What made you interested in me?
You are so modest. You are a Galarian warrior, and you were responsible for securing several major victories in the Worldwound. You had the courage to descend into the abyss, and now you've chosen to pay me a visit. Moreover, you are not here to wave a sword in my face, but to have a nice conversation. Now be honest. If you were me, wouldn't you be intrigued?
You are very powerful, aren't you?
It is true that my name carries a certain degree of prestige here in Elutionera. My advice, based on millennia of experience, can be truly valuable, and my adventurous life has allowed me to acquire extensive connections, as well as an impressive collection of powerful curiosities. Oh, now really, just listen to me, talking your ear off like a market seller.
Are you skilled in the magic of enchantments?
Yes, that's one of my many talents. A life that spans thousands of years can be a challenge for even the most lively and curious of minds. I am always looking for something new and exciting to do, so I have studied many strange subjects. I take particular interest in anything bizarre or unusual.
Why do you like to support young talent? Valexia glances at you coyly and gives you a charming smile.
I could have told you that I am driven by pure altruism and the desire to perform good deeds, and you would have thought me the kindest and most noble of demons. But the truth is that I am easily bored, and by attracting the young and the gifted, I can discover something new every day. They keep me entertained, and to be honest, they add to my prestige. I like making new friends, and with my help, those friends can become very influential indeed.
What happens to those who fail to interest you? Valexia looks at you uncomprehendingly for several moments, then bursts into a peal of musical laughter.
Ah, so you've heard those ridiculous rumors. Don't pay any attention to them, they're all so boring. Whoever invented them has no imagination. I've heard rumors that I kill them, that I keep them in my dungeons, and even, just imagine, that I rape them until they drop dead of exhaustion. It's all an extraordinary load of rubbish. I haven't done anything like that for at least a couple of millennia.
Thank you for your answers.
Thank you for being interested in what I have to say.
I have to go.
Please don't stay away too long. Come back soon.
Right then. Well, if that is the case, let's go to the Battle Bliss. Fortunately, it should be relatively easy. We have the teleport that goes right to the Battle Bliss, which is going to make it very nice and easy to get there. I just need to go over to the warp down. Right over here. There we go. And now we go right over to here. To the Battle Bliss. And it's nice and easy to get into. Right over to here. For your date, Valexia has swapped out her previous dress for an equally elegant outfit. The blood-red hue of her new gown seems particularly fitting considering the activities of the arena.
There you are, my friend. Let's hurry to the box reserved for distinguished guests. I am determined not to let you enjoy the spectacle from any other seats.
Chosen an interesting location for our date. The demon shrugs and glances at you with curiosity.
Why not? Of course, the gladiator fights are a lowbrow, primitive form of entertainment, but they do quicken the pulse, do they not? I don't see why we shouldn't indulge in such vulgar entertainment every once in a while. Oh, the fight is beginning.
A fierce battle unfolds in the arena. The bloody freak surges forward, launching into a brutal attack against Atselm. Atselm desperately tries to resist the onslaught, but the bloody freak is relentless. He strikes one furious blow after another, showing no signs of exhaustion or fatigue as he bears down on his opponent. Atselm attempts to fight back against her enemy with quick, sudden attacks, but fails to find an opening. Her movements begin to slow, and her footsteps leave behind a crimson trail of blood.
I can fight all right, but I don't like to watch such horrible fights. Watching them is scary, and it makes me unhappy. Oh, here's an idea. I'll just keep my eyes closed.
Ivy squeezes her eyes shut resolutely. Valexia observes you closely. Her eyes sparkle with lively curiosity, and you are forced to turn your attention away from the fight as she asks,
Slavery is the cornerstone of our life in the Abyss, and gladiator fights are a popular source of entertainment. How are such shows perceived on your homeland of Galarian? What is your view on slavery?
What do you think of Valexia? The angel's voice is tense, as if he's expecting a fight to break out at any moment. She is too gentle, too placid. Nothing at all like how she used to behave in battle. No, when we fought one another, she was never meek and gentle. She was a flurry of rage and angry curses. This masquerade, these tricks of hers, it all seems very suspicious to me. There is a trick to this. See if you can figure it out. Different lands and different nations have very different customs. It would be difficult to speak for all of them on this matter. Valexia looks at you with interest. Her curiosity has clearly been aroused.
Indeed, I've heard that there are many different cultures on Galarian, and that all of them have contradicting customs and traditions. I imagine the numerous clashes between these cultures are quite dramatic, and provide an endless source of fascination for those who study them.
With a victorious growl, the bloody freak hurls himself recklessly at his rival, who appears to be exhausted from her wounds. However, Atselm was merely feigning weakness. She dodges at the last moment and strikes a resounding blow. Blood gushes from the demon's wound, and his growl of rage gives way to a howl of desperation. Valexia glances disinterestedly at the arena, then returns her attention to you. She is clearly more interested in conversation than in watching the fight.
Nevertheless, even Galarians who are not enslaved are often forced to fight by those in authority, yet they still charge into battle with as much zeal as those two gladiators down in the arena. So tell me, what gives them the motivation to fight? What do they hope to achieve?
Everyone fights for their own interests, they just pretend otherwise. The demon nods for emphatic approval.
I am so happy that you do not practice the foolish self-deception that is so popular among mortals. Indeed, everyone fights for themselves. It is so nice to make the acquaintance of such a shrewd and insightful individual.
Atselm, no longer putting up a pretense of weakness, advances on the bloody freak, dealing him several painful blows. She strikes with precision, drawing blood, but never delivering a fatal blow. The audience goes wild as Atselm toys with her opponent, and the smell of blood hangs heavy in the air. There is no doubt that the merciless symphony of violence being played out in the arena will soon reach its deadly crescendo. But the bloody freak isn't finished. He lets out a monstrous, bloodthirsty howl. It reverberates around the arena as he channels his powerful rage into one last brutal attack. He strikes as swift as lightning, and Atselm's fury of blows is brought to a sudden halt. She sways slightly, then doubles over, as if embracing the blade that was just plunged through her body. Then, with another primal roar, the demon cuts her down, dispatching his weakened opponent with one powerful strike. Valexia watches Atselm closely. She muses thoughtfully.
But every warrior will meet their death eventually. How do Galarians face the end of their life? Are they scared of death? Do they despise it? Or do they welcome it as a friend?
Death is the end, so we should live life to the fullest while there's still breath in our lungs.
You have such a passion for life. I have never seen such depth of feeling. Most people are afraid of their emotions. They lack the courage to show their true feelings, so they try to keep them hidden with tricks and distractions that disguise the cowardice of their souls.
The screams and howls of the crowd are deafening. The bloody freak, oblivious to his numerous wounds, basks in the admiration of the audience. The arena master's voice rings out across the battle bliss. All hail the winner! Hail the bloody freak! Hepzibah rises from her place and announces loudly, I want this bloodthirsty fighter to be my servant. From now on, he is my slave, and anyone insolent enough to object will face my wrath. If you outbid Hepzibah for this gladiator, you'll wipe the smirk off of her arrogant face. Valexia averts her gaze but fails to hide her mischievous smile.
What a positively delightful idea. I can't resist. Ah, what you do to me. You've discovered my weakness.
Only moments ago, Hepzibah commanded the attention of the entire audience as she boasted about her power. However, when Valexia rises from her seat, all eyes turn toward the succubus.
I dare to challenge the claim of the most esteemed Hepzibah. I am touched by this fighter's tenacity. He has found a way to my heart, and I wish to make him my bodyguard. If anyone dares to argue against my right to make such a claim, they can say it to my face.
The arena master glances cautiously at Hepzibah, then he turns to Valexia and gives her a respectful nod. The crowd erupts into jeers and shouts, clearly enjoying the public humiliation of Baphomet's daughter. Hepzibah bellows and utters wild curses, and the sounds of her wrath shake the arena. But Valexia ignores her threats with a look of magnificent disdain and gives you a sly smile.
Oh, this is so exciting. I've enjoyed our time together here at the arena. However, I cannot resist the urge to appear with you somewhere in high society. I'm sure you wouldn't say no to attending a private reception with me at the Harem of Ardent Dreams. Shamira has prepared something special for her guests, and I would very much like you to experience it with me. I shall wait for you at the Harem of Ardent Dreams. You really must come. I simply won't take no for an answer.
Valexia suddenly pauses as she is about to leave. She turns toward you with a look of gentle reproach.
Oh, you should have reminded me. I nearly forgot. After such a wonderful time together, you must become a regular guest. I insist. Please accept this little gift as a reminder that the doors of my manor are always open to you. This coin is a key to the teleportation arch located in the upper city. I would not normally give something like this to my ordinary guests, but there's nothing ordinary about you, is there?
Well, in that case, let this episode go long. I think we need to go see her. Right, nice and easy. We've already been to the Harem of Ardent Dreams, so it's going to be easy. Fortunately, it should be easy to get in. We've already been in, and it's right here. Alright. Let's head in here.
It was a good idea of mine to introduce you to high society at this reception. We're a subject of gossip among the guests. I heard them whispering about how we showed up together.
So what will happen at this private reception? Valexia's eyes widen and she leans forward as if letting you in on a secret.
Shamira came up with such an interesting idea. Today, she will dispense false justice.
Shamira's voice rings out through the hall.
All rise. The proceedings will now begin with the dispensation of false justice. I, Shamira the Ardent Dream, will perform the duties of judge. The rights of prosecution will be granted to anyone acquainted with rage and hatred, and the part of the defender will be given to time and blind fate. All the participants are obligated to show true dread and obedience to the decisions of the court. Now, our first case is brought by the assassin Dogwood against the bodyguard for hire, Catrol. Dogwood accuses Catrol of being exceedingly nimble and dexterous. This excessive dexterity enabled the defendant to foil 3 assassination attempts against his employer, thus preventing the plaintiff from fulfilling his contract. Vlexia is more interested in having a conversation than in watching the sham trial. You know, my dear friend, after our last visit to the Battle Bliss, I've been thinking a lot about the customs of Galarian. Despite our differences, we actually have a lot in common. Our actions and desires stem from the same passions, except when it comes to... Valexia's eyes widen with excitement, and she utters a word that is as far into the abyss as you are. To love. It is common knowledge that demons know nothing about love, so why don't you explain it to me? Do you still believe Alexia is dangerous? More than ever. Take a look at this place. She brought you here to witness this mockery of justice, to watch this genuine insult to truth and fairness. She is either trying to provoke you to violence, or make you one of her obedient puppets. It is a pure and uplifting feeling in your soul that cleanses your heart of all burdens and pains. Alexia stares at you with wide eyes as she repeats your words. Pure and uplifting feeling? How intriguing, and how unfamiliar. Our passions are tempestuous, and our feelings stem from the darkest depth of our souls. But you say this feeling is pure. Fascinating. Growling with rage, Catrol the bodyguard has his head chopped off with a giant axe for being too good at his job. The crowd roars its approval, and the beaming plaintiff counts his coins. Is it not true that love restricts freedom, and that its harsh constraints can sometimes lead to cruel evil deeds? Does not love force people to act contrary to their desires, and subordinate to them to the object of their affection? Do not even the most loving souls feel occasional regret about trading away their freedom for love? Haven't the most terrible betrayals been committed for the sake of love? Doesn't unrequited love cause mortals to commit suicide? And isn't rejection the reason they often resort to violence and other terrible crimes? I am most curious to hear your answer to these questions. Yes, when a mortal cannot control their emotions, their love can become a devastating force. That's why the feelings and emotions of the heart must be governed by the logic and reason of the mind. The demon looks at you more closely. You speak of love as if it were a weapon. A true warrior respects their blade because it is capable of cutting down enemies and careless owners alike. You treat love as carefully as you would a sword. The execution has the audience in an uproar. The demons howl their approval, and Shamira has to raise her voice to be heard above the noise. Next, we'll hear the case of Varsa the Nose Cutter. He attacked 2 of Elutionira's visitors from another plane, even though the Great Nocticula made it clear that they were under her protection. Varsa the Nose Cutter tracked down his victims in the upper city and killed them with his glaive. Then he robbed them and cut off their tongues and noses. This scrawny demon doesn't look like a hardened killer. He writhes and shackles, yelling hysterically. But I am not Varsa the Nose Cutter. I don't even know who that is. My name is Sharzal, and I've never been to the upper city. I'm not allowed to enter, even though that's where a slave of my status should live. Besides, I've never held a glaive in my life. This is all Hepzimira's fault. She wanted to buy slaves at half price, and I refused to sell. And now she's taking revenge against me and plans to get her hands on my slaves. It seems to me that love is like a living creature. Sometimes it behaves one way, and at other times another way. It is both contradictory and inconsistent. It leads to both good and bad outcomes, and like every living creature, it is bound to die eventually. After all, every love, no matter how strong, is doomed to die. Is that not so? Love comes and goes, but duties and responsibilities remain.
Valexius smiles at you sadly.
A stern knight in armor, that's what you are. It is duty, not love, that reigns in your heart. Yet surely that does not stop others from loving you. If anything, your unshakable devotion makes you even more desirable.
Shamira shouts to be heard above the screams of Varsa the Nose Cutter. The court finds the evidence of the indicted person's innocence to be quite convincing. However, false justice requires every sin to be punished, so therefore I hereby declare that this demon is Varsa the Nose Cutter, and he shall be executed without further delay. Shamira throws a conspiratorial glance at Hepzimira, who stands nearby. The latter grins and bows mockingly. And the last crime for today is the most harmful and treacherous. Listen to Shamira attentively. The crime of sinful mercy! And the offense was further aggravated by an attempt at self-sacrifice. A tiefling is brought forward in chains. Shamira glares furiously at the bloodied, beaten figure. The mortal who stands before you is a descendant of Sharzal, a slave trader who died recently. A week ago, this tiefling was offered the chance to be an accomplice in the murder of his progenitor Sharzal in exchange for a portion of Sharzal's slave holdings. However, this mortal refused to participate in such a cunning, highly profitable murder. Driven by some insane familial sentiment and a disgusting display of fondness, he warned Sharzal about the possible attempt on his life, and personally hired Katrol, one of the best bodyguards in Alushanira, to guard his father's life. Shamira has to shout to be heard over the indignant clamor of her demonic audience. There's more! During the last attempt on Sharzal's life, this mortal, driven by the most disgusting feelings of duty and gratitude for his own existence, tried to cover his father with his own body to save him from the assassin's dagger. We find such actions to be criminally insane and dangerous. Therefore, false justice demands that we sentence this mortal to death. Sharzal's property will be declared destitute of an heir and henceforth accessible to anyone who wishes to take possession of it. The tiefling is too weak to protest, and at a signal from Shamira, he is executed by the guards. Valexia smiles at you, her eyes sparkling with excitement. She seems uninterested in the drama that just played out before your eyes.
Thank you for our conversation. I expected to find it interesting, but I had no idea that our discussion would be so thought-provoking. I am so glad I decided to come here with you, and I sincerely hope that you'll visit me again. I hope to see you at my manor soon. I host small receptions for the most interesting and noteworthy residents of the upper city. Conversations at these receptions are always entertaining. If you were to attend, we could continue our discussion about love. Of course, I seriously doubt my guests would be as interested in this topic as I am, so perhaps we should finish our conversation in private. I hope to see you soon, dear friend. Don't stay away too long. I'm looking forward to your next visit. Valexia gives you a dazzling smile, then vanishes into thin air. And so that ends. Let us let the episode go even longer. I want to finish off with this whole date thing with Valexia. Let us see what the finale will be. Now then, Valexia. Valexia's demeanor has changed since the last time you saw her. She looks at you with a mixture of boredom and irritation. When she greets you, her friendliness no longer seems genuine but forced and insincere. Here is our long-awaited guests. The performance is about to begin, and there is so much new talent here today. I wonder if any of them will entertain me. She looks directly at you as she makes this last remark. I'm starting to suspect that you are losing interest in our conversations. Valexia throws you a withering glance and mutters something under her breath before she answers. In that case, you should act fast before you lose what remains of my interest. Valexia claps her hands imperiously, and one of the performers begins to sing a heartfelt ballad in a deep, velvety voice.
Valexia looks tired, and her eyes are full of sadness. There's a wistful note in her voice as she asks,
Tell me, how did you end up here in the Abyss? You are not one of us. Our ways are foreign to you. Why did you come to our world?
What do you think is going on? The hand's voice is grim. This is the finale. The performance is about to end. As I've already told you, Valexia's temper is volatile, and now you can see the proof of my words. She has grown tired of her new Galarian companion, and will unleash her anger upon you at any moment. If you can surprise her, you might buy yourself some time. Otherwise, you should be prepared for a fight. We are now in this wild creature's lair, and our enemies have us cornered. You invaded my world. Now you will reap what you've sown. Valexia sounds slightly disappointed.
So you only came here to seek revenge? How predictable. I had hoped for something more original.
The demon interrupts the ballad with an impatient clap of her hands. The singer quails beneath her imperious gaze and hurries away. Another performer steps forward, dressed as a jester. Here's another one for you, distinguished guests. How many mortals would it take to paint this manor? Depends how hard you throw them at the walls.
That wailing was starting to annoy me. What do we have next? Oh, another fool has decided to entertain me with jokes. Well, as far as I'm aware, laughing at cripples and the misfortune is popular on Galarian as well. If you ask me, it's a primitive form of entertainment. Still, you mortals seem to enjoy it, even though you try to pretend yourselves different from us creatures of vice and evil. Now that I'm thinking about it, what is the difference between demons and Galarians?
There is light and mercy in our souls. The demon waves her hand dismissively.
Do you really think you are the first Galarian I have ever met? There is as much darkness in your souls as there is in ours, and you cannot pretend that your kind is unacquainted with the sins and vices that bring demons such delight. Don't bore me with your religious propaganda.
Valexia dismisses the jester with a wave of her hand. A scrawny spellcaster comes forward and immediately conjures up two illusions that begin to fight violently with one another. I'll cut off your wings, put you in chains, and teach you obedience. May death take you, you despicable beast. Light will prevail. Valexia rolls her eyes in exasperation and her voice is unpleasantly shrill.
Deep down, I am beginning to wonder if you are worth my time. Why should I desire your company? What more do you have to offer?
Because no one can match the pure unbridled fury of my soul? Valexia's cruel, mocking laughter rings through the air. Her words drip with venom.
Are you trying to impress me with your claims? You are in the Abyss. Your boasts mean nothing. Do you think this unbridled fury is rare among demons?
Valexia snaps her fingers in irritation, and magic sparks fly from her fingertips. The performers who were unlucky enough to provide the evening's entertainment begin to scream with pain. Their bodies change shape, density, and color. In a matter of moments, they have been completely transformed into a set of whimsically decorated furniture. The pieces of furniture creak sadly as if lamenting their bitter fate. Valexia is clearly tired of you, and the polite words she forces out from beneath her clenched teeth do a poor job of hiding her frustration.
I must admit that our time together has brought me a certain degree of amusement. However, I do not intend for us to meet again. I ask that you take this humble gift as a sign of my affection, and in fond memory of the pleasure our conversations used to provide.
The succubus hands you an elegant piece of jewelry.
This is one of my latest creations. It has an intelligent mind of its own. It is certainly far more clever and sophisticated than many living creatures I know. The jewelry will identify the most important traits and features of its owner, and then it will enhance those abilities. It is a rare and valuable gift, and I hope you appreciate its worth. And now I must ask you to leave. I have grown tired of your company. Thank you for your time. I enjoyed our meetings. Now I must go. Valexia looks at you with barely concealed annoyance, but she forces herself to smile politely. Our dates were unforgettable, and now I ask that you leave as soon as possible.
Okay. So, a unique necklace. This amulet grants its wearer +5 natural enhancement bonus to armor class and a +2 bonus to the highest current ability score. Which is strength, and a good thing to have, I think. You, my draconic friend, will get the +4 natural armor amulet. So, I'm going to be keeping this. Thank you for the strength. And with that, Valexia granted you her patronage. Though her interest did not last long, this affair has still brought you recognition, and the fear and respect of Elutionira's many residents. I must ask you to be honest with me. Do you like the attention? This has been very beneficial for my reputation, and that's all that matters. You are right, it has been beneficial. I only worry that such success comes at too heavy a cost to your soul. Demonic corruption is like a weed. A boulder may seem unbreakable, but the tiniest crack in its surface is enough for a seed to sprout. As the weed grows, its roots will cause the rock to shatter. I will keep that in mind. And with that, I am going to end this episode here. It's been a long episode, but an entertaining one, I dare say. And with that, I end the episode. Next episode, we're going to take a look at this northern area up here. We have things to see there. But that'll be in the next episode. So until then, I am Cheswick44. I'll send in his fly. That is me, Regil, Camellia, Darren, Lan, and Nenio. This has been a Let's Play of Wrath of the Righteous, and I shall see you all next time.